And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking the Indy 500 news, all the news coming into that, well, the greatest race on the planet, the greatest race on Earth, at least according to Indy 500. You would be tough to argue some years. It is very exciting. Dangerous as well, with massive crashes. Sometimes winners decided on the last lap. So if you want to say one of the greatest races ever, yeah, potentially it may well be. So let's get into then the Indy 500. The first thing I want to clarify though, the first thing that I'd like to clarify is a interesting rule change. Indy's new white line rule. Before we get into the grid, so the series has provided what is a procedural update for that 108th running of the Indy 500. So after much anticipation, a lot of debate, a lot of talk, IndyCar has shared how this dashed white line at the exit of turn 4 on the pit lane will be officiated for this year's greatest spectacle of racing. So the teams were made aware of these changes meeting on the Friday morning ahead of what was final practice, and according to the new protocol, any car that crosses the dashed white line with the left side tyres will be penalised unless they're entering the pit lane, for example, for instance, avoidance in an obvious attempt to avoid a closed pit lane and return to the racetrack, as an example. Furthermore, the releases states that IndyCar can impose penalties that include a drive-through, and that will be very painful, wouldn't it? Now, however, a time penalty equal to a drive-through can be handed out at the conclusion of the race, and which interprets that scenario exists should that take place on the final lap. Now, under yellow flag conditions, the car is ordered to the rear of the restart lineup, so that's good. So the dash white line, it's been a talking point for the last several years if you've been watching Indianapolis, but accelerated into concern after a certain Team Penske, he won't remain nameless, Jesus Newgarden, he drove down in the past the area in question in an effort to break the draft and fend off Marcus Ericsson en route to winning last year's Indy 500. So that's the reason why. So there we go. But let's get very much into Let's get into the grid, shall we? Here we go. So here is the grid, and we have Scott McLaughlin on pole position. More on that a bit later. Will Power on second, Joseph Newgarden on third. And if you haven't watched Indy before, that is the first row. I know. 3 cars. Amazing. So on the next row, we've got McLaren's own Alexander Rossi, another McLaren, Kyle Lawson, and Sanantino Ferrucci. I might get some of these names wrong in the AJ4 Enterprises. Incidentally, Team Penske have dominated that front row. So you gotta say, favourite could be a Team Penske driver. So we've got VK on the third row, Pato O'Ward on the third row, with the other Aaron McLaren, Felix Rosenqvist. Now, on row 4, we've got former winner, he won, I think, the 100th IndyCar race, Takuma Sato, Carl Kirkwood, Ryan Hunter-Ray. Colton Herta is on row 5, along with Alex Palou, Callum Ilott, Marcus Ericsson on that row 6, along with Ed Carpentier, Kiffin Simpson. Row 7, Marco Andretti, third generation Andretti there on row 7. Helio Castroneves and Scott Dixon. And more on Scott in a bit as well. Row 8, Campanino, Stingray Bob, and Ramusen. I probably got that wrong. But row 9, Bloomquist, which I was quite surprised. Roman Grosjean on row 9, and Lindquist. And Christian Lundgaard on the row 10, Connor Daly, along with Britain's own Katherine Legge. More on that row. On row 11, not bad. I mean, fair play to Katherine Legge there. Marcus Ericsson as well joins her in row 11, and Graham Rahal, and that's your 33 drivers. So doesn't matter though, wherever you start, I think anyone has a chance at the Indy 500 win. It's not, for example, like Formula 1 where you start at the back, you have absolutely zero chance. It does make it a lot difficult, though. It's not like Monaco this weekend. Well, let's be fair. The Saturday qualifying, that's what it's all about. Sunday, no. So if you want a race, it's either going to be this for the open wheeler, which should be an amazing race on Sunday, and the touring cars on Sunday as well. But we will be talking. But let's carry on with our IndyCar talk, shall we? So we've obviously talked about that white line. Let's talk about Scott, the record breaker McLaughlin. No, so to have them as close as we have them, that's impressive, Joseph Newgarden said, after Team Penske absolutely dominated and blitzed the field on pole day with a 1-2-3. So after posting the fastest run in the Fast 12 early in the day, New Zealand's own Scott McLaughlin led the group to earn what was his first Indy pole with his number 3 Chevy. And he said, I felt like there's two runs today with some of the best runs of my career. He went on to say, I thought the potential was right there. Even yesterday, it was just about getting the right balance. I knew the engineer would nail it, and they did. And when the first number came up, I just had to hold on. Got a little bit loose at the end, but the Chevy held on. Super proud to put the yellow submarine back on the pole sweep for Team Penske. What a great spot for the 108th running. I'm really proud. I think it's the first Team Penske clean sweep of the front row since way back, as I imagine, before some of you were born, 1988. In this day and age, it's a proud moment. Absolutely it is, Scott. It is a proud moment. And Scott McLaughlin looking good as well. So DIXON, Scott McLaughlin looking good, and so is Scott DIXON. He might not qualified back, but he did look quite good in the last practice. He led the final practice for the IndyCar, the IndyCar race this weekend. He won this race in 2008 as well, and he will start, though, as I mentioned, a career low 21st. But DIXON, in his own words, said, we rolled off pretty good. It was a good day. The car seems pretty fast, pulls up well, pretty consistent. He went on saying, I think you have to take the moment as it is. You don't want to rush it too much. In talking about early race passes, we've got some positions to make up. Hopefully, move up as quick as possible. I'd like to pass 20 cars in front of me in the first lap, but that's probably not going to happen. Once again, he's looking positive. Could he win? Yeah, as I said, and in Indy, what I like is almost anything is possible. At no point did I ever think Takuma Sato was going to win the Indianapolis. He did. So, as I mentioned, absolutely anything is possible. And talking about possibilities, Katherine Legge, she is, despite qualifying, she's come out and said she's still searching for the right balance. The Brit has been put through a challenging time to rein in her Dale Coyne Racing with Rick Ware Racing Honda, with multiple near misses and also slight contact on that wall. Now, even with the handling being kind of sketchy, Legge was able to find more speed and put down a 4-lap average of 230.082 miles per hour, which got her 31st and, importantly, into the race. You got to be in it to win it. Now that the focus is put towards the race and trying to find what was a more drivable car that can go forward, she said, we tried a bunch of stuff on Monday. We have a direction that we were going to go in, but we really need Friday to be a thing. We really need it to not rain. We're missing time from last week. When you just do an Indy, you're not in the car week in, week out. It's tough to be able to say exactly what the car needs. She's referring to Friday as that free practice. She said, I can say what the car is doing, but I need so many things from it that it's tough to exactly pinpoint where it's coming from. I think we have a direction, and I think we have Friday. It will be a lot better. I mean, yeah, she wasn't fast to say, was she? That's the sad thing. So, on the Friday, but as I said, anyone can pretty much win. However, there is a but to the Indy. This year. Sorry. There is a but to this year's Indy 500. And the big but is going to be, sadly, the weather. As I look on BBC Weather here today, this is the Indianapolis. It's tomorrow. We've got light rain showers, which is not particularly great. If I stretch it out, wait there, let's just change it there so you can see what I'm looking at. Can I stretch it out a bit? Sort of. So, yeah, we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not particularly great. 12, 1 o'clock. I mean, we've gone from 13, 12 to 8. I think it's going to be okay. The thing is, you want 0%, don't you? You want sunshine. Overcast. That might be good for the tyres, though, because the track is not going to be... It won't make the track amazingly hot, will it? So, there's hope. Fingers crossed for no rain at Indy. Otherwise, goodness knows what's going to happen. So, let me know what you think down below. Who is going to win? I'm going for a Team Penske driver, possibly favourite. I would love a McLaren driver to win, though. Pato Ward, maybe, but he's a bit further back. But yeah, I would absolutely love for a McLaren driver to win. I mean, let me see here. We got Rossi, Larson, Pato Ward at the McLaren. Fantastic. One of them would be great, but let's be fair. Let's just have a great race. If you made it to the end, give us a subscribe. That would be absolutely fantastic. We will speak to you soon. We will be talking about the Indy 500 sometime tomorrow, no doubt. And also, probably later on this evening, Monaco Grand Prix qualifying, possibly the touring car qualifying as well. Speak to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate all the likes, all the comments. I reply to every comment where I can. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. But yeah, really, really appreciate it. One of the biggest motorsport weekends of the year. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.